All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let me go ahead and stick that into the chat box right now. That way I can look at everybody's face and see if there's any questions. So, all right. There it is there. Give it a second to download. So we 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 are all real estate agents, and we understand what real estate agent terms are. And we found out over the last few days that their terms don't align with our terms. So instead of having to wonder what, thinking that we know what they mean, today we are going to go ahead and we're going to learn what the things mean. And when you're talking to your investor, so remember when, whether we're the investor or whether we give you another investor property that you're going to go ahead and list, we're using the investor side. That's a 10% buyer's premium. I'm going to give you a quick share and just show you where that is aligning with these investors that understand what they're doing. So can everybody see our screen? My screen?
Yep.
So, and the one I'm going to talk about, because we've been spending a lot of time with her, is Zoreena. If you take a look at Zoreena's name down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She submitted 12 properties in the last week. So we worked with her, and this is why doing the workshop is so critical for these investors. But what I want to do is I want to focus on that by utilizing the easy platform, by utilizing the cash price, the novation price, and the listing it on the side. If you look at hers, majority of them, she was able to do the novation, remember, is just a partnership, right? So we got the cash offer where we're just offering cash to the buyer, to seller. And then the novation is kind of like, okay, well, they're going to keep the paper, but remember, we up the offer. We go in and we partnership with them and do a little bit of work on their home. Then we go and list it. There's a contracted price that we have with them. And then we've got on the 10% buyer's premium, we've got 3% going to the investor for the insurance policy in case there's not a lot of spread, right? And then we got 6% going to you guys, 3.5% to the listing agent, 2.5% to the buyer's agent, and then we've got the 1% coming to the platform. So everybody should know about that. So after working with Zoreena for a couple weeks, all of a sudden it clicked into her. So what I want to do is take a look at some of her. So here's a home in Denison, Texas. Contract price is $120. The current value is $160. And then with the work that they do, it would be worth $200,000. In this case, she's choosing not to put all that work in it, put enough in it to get the value back up to 160. But here's another one, 225 and a contract price, 311 current value. 212 contract, this list in San Antonio, price is worth 320. Milford, 193, 582, it's worth 275. So I think if everybody understands that after they go through our workshop, and the same thing should happen with us, is there is a lot of spread and margin into there. Does everybody understand that? Does that make sense to you?
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. And remember, when we have, what's the rule on buyer's premium? Somebody else, Roman, you can't answer this because you just went through it yesterday. Somebody give me the rule on the buyer's premium.
Can't exceed the value of the property.
Cannot exceed the value of the home. So in these cases here with the investors, and so we have a home we're listing at 212. Its market value as is condition is worth 320. So we listed on the price, or what price are we listing it at? Kenneth Collins, what price are we listing that at?
I didn't see the chart.
When we list an investor home, what price are we using?
Contract price. The contract price.
Contract price. Exactly. So she's got all these things are listed. And let's say she only gets one offer at that $212,000. plus the buyer's premium of 10%, right? So Mike Nikolai, if she only gets one offer, what's the purchase sale agreement going to be written up for?
Oh, let's see. You're making me do math now. Hang on.
Yeah, 212.
Just say 212 plus 21.
Okay, I can do that. 212 plus 21 is what 233?
Okay, so it's going to be written for 233. Now, shouldn't it make a little bit of money on the spread too if the figures are right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's the objective of lowering these things out there. But the cool thing is, just getting one offer means that we have a deal because minimally the investors are making that 3%. And that's why we have that 3% built into it. And we're still way under market value, right?
Yeah.
So if we have extra value, we decide who the seller picked, who the buyer is. What would be a next step to do if we got extra money, extra value left over in the house with the buyer's premium? What's a good strategy to do with your buyer's agent or even buyer?
How about we buy down their interest rate so that they can qualify for more loan?
What's another strategy? What else can we do with it?
Hey, closing costs.
Closing costs. What else? One more thing.
Pay off any bills like a car or credit card.
Exactly. You guys are absolute. Is everybody getting all this? And remember all these things that we are talking about with the buyer's premium. Isn't that a beautiful reverse prospecting message to your buyer's agents?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that being said, so are there any questions about the investor listing a property? All right. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and I'm not going to share my sheet.
Robert, can I ask this question?
Yes,
So
you
the investor, when he turns the property over to us for us to list, he's not looking at anything other than his 3% that he's going to receive, right?
No, he's looking for spread too.
He's not. Oh, he does.
Of course he does.
Okay. So.
Yeah, and if we use Adam's deals, Adam went 9 for 9, and one of them was just he went 10 for 10 on his listings. He made spreads in every one of them. So the 3%, he received the 3% plus he received another average 25,000 in spread on top of it. So he was averaging $32,000 to $40,000 for all of his investments that he put on the site. Yeah, we absolutely want spreads, Kenna. That keeps everybody happy. It makes you more money, makes them more money. They put more listings on. They'll use you again because you know how to maximize the money, right?
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're quite welcome. Okay, so we are going to go into, and these are some of the terms that that even I was going like, I didn't understand what they were either. So, does everybody have their sheet pulled up?
Yep.
Naomi, can you see the topic Thursday in the chat? Is Naomi still there? She's still there. All right, she's not answering. So, all right. So the first term that messed me up was underwriting. I'm sitting here a year ago talking to an investor. What the heck? Why would they need loan underwriting on an investor deal? Why would they need insurance underwriting? Those are the only two places I've ever heard of underwriting. Either insurance or loans, right?
Exactly.
What underwriting is for them is figuring out the price of the home. Interesting, isn't it?
How do they need a new word? We're already using that word.
Well, you know what? Now you got to understand when they talk to you about underwriting and they ask, hey, Ryan, can you help me with underwriting? You should know that they're going to be asking you to do a CMA, right?
Yeah.
Help them with pricing the home. All right. Any questions on that? Next one. Here's the one that got us a week ago. Cash offer. So the investor says, I got a home in foreclosure. I need a cash offer by August 31st. And so you're thinking, oh my God, here it is like the beginning of the month and I got to be, have a cash offer and it close on the 31st of August, right? That's not what a cash offer is in their terms. A cash offer means any
Non-contingent.
offer, huh?
Not any offer non-contingent, probably.
No, it means any offer that they get with financing, whether it's cash, whether it's finance. And in other words, they consider it a cash offer when it closes and they put cash in their pocket.
Oh, okay.
So we had a listing go live that by the luck of God, I just ended up on Zillow looking at this thing and saw she had it in there. One of our newer agents had it in there for cash only. And this is a San Antonio home. It's priced at $200. It's worth $350. How on earth is that thing not blowing up? And she's getting a bunch of handwritten offers because nobody wanted to pay even the $200 for it, like for $150, $170, $130. But it was all investors giving her offers, right? So when they ask you to get a cat, that just simply means get it into contract. The cool thing is about all these investors, at least the investors that are coming onto our platform, they know how to work with servicing companies. In this case here, called her back up and called the agent. We got that switched around. She was able to buy another 60 days from the bank. So if you hear I need a cash offer from an investor, that means just get an offer. And they'll take that offer, they'll submit it to the servicing department, and they're all getting the time that they need to close these things out. Okay? Because we know cash offer in our world is seller's not doing a squatting thing. We priced it down and good luck. You can come in and do an inspection. And the other thing about a cash offer too, that I'm finding out with the investors, they get offers in, and if there's things that need to be done on the back side of it, they do the inspection and find some little things. They're actually doing that work, a lot of them, to keep the deal together. Okay? So, any questions on cash offer? Okay. Next one, I think I just kind of went through it as is in the investor world. As is basically is a term used to figure out, it's for working out what the property value should be. If you guys remember our workup sheets on cash offers, we're using 70% rule. We're taking out the 3% investor premium, and we're also taking repairs out of that. So if you recall, in our $400,000 home, and our the sheet, everybody has that sheet, we were going to only offer $261,000 on that property. So when we hear about cash, there are a couple things on it. It could be a cash offer. It may be just a term used to arrive at what they're going to offer on the home, a price that they're going to offer on a home. It could be also, too, if they plan on fixing and flipping it, that they are using hard money to do that. So in the investor world, it's got those three terms attached to it. Does that make sense? You guys, I think, am I losing you?
No.
Is this exciting,
No.
boring, or?
No. This explains a lot.
Okay, good. All right. So when they talk about that, then obviously we know what they're talking about, right? All right. Conventional VA, FHA, USDA financing. This is to talk to the investor. I'm using this in the investor workshop so that they know how long conventional should take to close, how long VA, what the ramification is if they do a VA versus FHA. Are you guys capable of advising without using your net sheet in your MLS? do you know the difference between what the seller's going to net doing a conventional loan versus an FHA and a VA loan? Are you able to like quote that out of the gate?
Yeah, you should be.
So Frank, do you want to explain it?
Well, how I explain it is I give all the facts and figures to my escrow company, and then they put together the net sheets for me based on, actual figures for other closing
Okay,
costs.
so when I do a conventional and my seller's going to net $300,000, let's say, what's going to be the difference between that and VA? What are they going to net?
Are you assuming that the seller's paying the VA loan origination fee for crediting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it
and
still 10 grand?
I think it's a little bit less, at least with my lenders, but it's safe to say that it's, I always say 5 to 10 grand depending on the value of the home. And then with FHA, we got to kind of keep the same thing over, right? Because FHA is going to cost them a little bit more money than it would other than conventional. So the idea behind it, a lot of these investors don't understand. Well, hold it, I was going to net this. What happened? And I didn't know about these fees, and I didn't know about. So we always want to make sure that we're able to explain that a VA, an FHA, and does anybody do USDA loans?
I wish.
I have. Why?
Hey, Colin.
Hey,
Welcome.
buddy.
What is the different? How much are they pulling out of? Is it like an FHA loan? Would that be comparable to the fees that sellers getting charged?
Pretty comparable, yeah. Buyers also get a little additional fee because it's almost like 100% program, and their interest rate's going to be a little bit lower.
All right, so the seller's going to net a little bit more on that. So if we use the FHA, for those of you who are lucky enough to have USDA financing, okay. Adam, I know you got to leave in 5 minutes. Is there anything that you want to throw out there before you leave? Can't beat that, can we? So, all right.
You want to explain that, Adam?
Sure. He's doing a good job. Really good job.
Oh, you're so nice. Anyways. All right. So cash offer as is, then we always want to figure out the ARV. And everybody understands the cash offer price and after repair value, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. And everybody understands the percentages that we are having are that we do with our investors, right? We got 70 for cash offer, less the 3%, less the repairs. Let's see here. Ryan Baker, what do we do for Novation? What percentage are we using as a company, when we're doing a Novation with somebody?
You mean the 10%?
No, the how do we arrive at a price for Novations versus cash?
It's the list price that the investor comes up with, and
I don't think I'm asking it right. So we got 70% for a cash offer.
80%.
Frank, yeah. So 80% to figure out the value of the cash offer that we're going to offer them, Ryan. I'm sure I wasn't asking it right. I'm not good at asking questions sometimes, but
sorry, I've done one, so I wasn't sure what.
yeah, sorry. But anyways, for our company, so remember the cash is 70, the Novation's 80. Another name for Novation would be what? Let's see. Another word for Novation, Roman. What's another word for it?
JV?
No. Brad, do you remember?
I don't remember, but would wholesale work?
No.
Okay.
Katie, you remember?
Assignment?
No. So the Novation, remember, it's a partnership agreement between us, the investor, and the seller. We're getting a cash offer. We're giving them the least amount of money. The novation / partnership agreement, they're agreeing to keep the house payments up to order, agreeing to make sure the taxes are paid, and we're coming in and doing the work on the house. So we are partnering up with them. And it's a great way, if you want to start doing it's a great way to explain the difference between a cash offer and novation. If you just call it, they all understand the partnership agreement. And it's much more palatable. What it means to you, Mrs. Seller, Mr. Seller, I'm giving you more money. And not only that, I'm going to come and do the work on the house that you can't do. All right.
Could you also call it a joint venture? With the
But it's so funny, Frank, is when I was talking to sellers, and the only reason I was saying, when I was working leads for Adam and before he joined on with the company, and it's really keep it simple, stupid. Joint ventures, they think you're coming in and going to pay half the rent, half the mortgage, half the taxes, half the this and that. So I found that they seem to understand it better when we use, instead of calling it novation. When I'm talking to a seller, I will absolutely call it a partnership agreement. Now, the contract that we send out with it, the new contract we have, it's novation / partnership agreement.
Yeah, when you say novation, it makes me sound like I'm handing over my property to you.
Yeah, it's it. Hey, I mean, by the way, Brett's met with a bunch. He was helping me work leads in Washington with the admin Michael's company as well. So we got a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit ahead of the learning curve there. So we're trying to pass the stuff on. So,
Hey,
any
Robert?
questions on?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do have a question. I just want to be clear on 80% of what? Are we doing current cash value?
As is value.
As is value, not after repair value.
After repair value.
Okay, at current value. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, everything, it should be figured off as is. And the horror stories I've heard from investors that don't go out and put the due diligence into looking at a home, when they're working off the as is value, if they make one stinking mistake, they are going to lose their behinds off in that. So the safest way, and what we are preaching inside this conference that Tom and Shell are going to go out and start talking to investors, we are preaching using the as is. All these other gurus are take it off the after repair value. The margins are too tight on there. And one mistake, think about your reputation. One mistake. So anyway, that's what we found out. So anybody have any comments on that?
Yeah, Robert, I have a question.
Yep.
The question is, has anyone doing an ovation ran into a situation, whether it's the seller's primary or rental property, that after repairs are done, that the seller now wants to retain the property? If so, what was the resolution to that?
No, there's a clause inside the Novation contract.
Okay.
So they would go back and get damages for it.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, we're averaging 4 leads a day. Yeah, so Adam's working at, like I told you guys that Jeff Tesloff, that most of you know, he's making the phone call, the first outbound phone calls to the sellers, filling out a form. That form goes into Adam. Adam does a workup sheet, and then he comes back and presents them with cash offer, Novation partnership offer, and putting on the platform offer. And he's letting the sellers choose what they want. And again, if slim margins, the cool thing about us, we can even pare ours down to just giving you a listing. an easy list. So we have 4 ways of doing this with our company that nobody else does. Cash, Novation partnership, easy platform with the investors making 10%, and then margins still aren't there. We can just take it, do a traditional easy listing where we're just charging the 6% buyer's premium and yada, yada, yada.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys, again, keep all this stuff in mind when you're talking to your sellers, right? You've got these tools are for you too. You
I
see
have a
a
question.
yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand the Novation a little bit. I think I got it, but I just want to make sure. So there's a show like on HGTV where these twin sisters take a house that, you know, the seller has not been able to sell, and they fix up the house and then they split the difference of
That would be a type of novation. Absolutely.
is that an example of a Novation?
That is, but the investors are agreeing on a contract. The difference between us and them, the investors are agreeing on a contract. What you'll find with our deals, Adam's going to get the deal, regardless of what he has to do. So in some cases, Terry, he does, which means we're just offering more on our contract price. But absolutely, we can do that. That would be a perfect novation.
Okay.
Definition.
Okay. I think I got it.
Woohoo! The reason why I like doing these topic Thursdays is because you guys also bring in more to the conversation and another way to explain it. And I really love as a community that we are doing that and making ourselves better. And even that's probably and that's there's another way to explain something as well, right? So, anyways, thanks a lot, Terry. That was cool. Okay, so Michael Nikolai, the answer to your questions on the sheet, negotiate off the as is value. All right, now we're going to get into some title companies. So we encourage, and we will be doing this with our listings. When we go into contract with the property, we are going to be sending that contract in and opening title between the investor. Okay. She will get the A to, she'll set it up for the A to B side. After a contract is done and it's in contract, it's going to go to the A to C. With the investor's novation agreement, title will pay the investor their percentage of property. And I haven't found a title company that has not done this in this, this market situation. So we're getting it open with A to B, and they're putting down a very minimal, maybe it's $100, maybe it's $50 for earnest money, whatever's on the contract. They're getting title and escrow open. Why would we want to open escrow and title before we even get it on the MLS?
Looking for other liens, other judgments, etc.
A lot of these properties are distressed, right? Distressed? That's exactly right, Brett. Does that make sense to everybody? So we get a prelim, make sure it's insurable, make sure it's ready to go. If there's any liens, do we go to the seller with that, or who do we go with that?
You should definitely go to the seller with that. That changes the pricing.
Okay, define who the seller is in this case.
Well, the person you entered into contract with, who would be, the person trying to sell their house on Novation.
The investor, right?
Yeah, the investor.
Good. That's it. Absolutely the right answer, Colin. Thank you. Again, that was my fault. I don't ask questions the right way sometimes. So when you run into problems with a title, with something, you go back to the investor and let them go back and take care of the problem. Any questions on that?
No, I actually have an idea, Rob. I don't know if y'all thought about this, especially with Novation potentially, and us. Yeah, you're talking about putting in money to get it up, and yes, there's part of the agreement, and there's stuff. Why do you not just go ahead while you're in tow of doing the repairs, put a lien on the house?
Yeah,
Like a contractor puts a lien on the house before they're done. And
Yeah.
once they're done and get final payment, then they remove the lien.
Yeah, workman's lien.
Yep.
Hmm.
List
that would be an
pendants.
Adam question. That's out of my wheelhouse, you guys.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a
I'll,
list pendants.
I'll get that answer for you for Monday. If all you come on
Hmm.
Monday, then we'll have the answer. That would have been a good one to ask before you left.
Hey,
Well, I can tell you this, Colin, is that they did do some work on the ones that closed on the site.
Mhm.
Not all of them, but I would say half of them.
Mhm.
They did not have any liens against the property. And I don't think when we're doing novations, I don't think investors are using a huge amount of money. I haven't heard anybody spending more than 10 grand to do the work on the home.
Yeah, just look at it as a stopgap for risk of loss, and it holds their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd see it.
It makes sense, and I trust me, I'm going to ask them. That's
And if in some states, if you don't do it right away, they can't go back and redo the lien. So it would need to be done early, within whatever the time restriction is.
So
Yeah,
just
in
to
California,
clarify though, we're working with in the A to B to B to C to A to C and all that. We're working with B. So that's who we really need to communicate with. That's the investor who put the deal together. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Whoever your client is.
Kenneth, what were you going to say?
I was going to, in California, it's called a mechanics lien. And we're required as a contract in California is required to give the homeowner a notice as soon as work starts. So there's a potential for a lien, mechanics lien, to be placed on the property.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
Are you doing that with your investments, Kenneth?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you doing that through the contract process? So the person you're negotiating with, they know that?
Yes. Yes. And I just explain it just how it's being explained here, that, it'll be released at the time that everything is completed and we're ready to go to the seaside and get it done. So it hasn't been a problem. Everybody understands it.
Well, so maybe Adam does do it. If he did do it, you got Ryan. Did he do it on any of the homes you sold? Did they have a mechanics lien?
Let's try to get my mic on. No, I don't think they did. It was super minimal. I think they spent like $700 just to replace a couple patches of carpet and make it look presentable. So it was really minor. I don't think it was a need. But has everyone done a Novation yet? No?
I haven't.
Because I've only done one with Adam, and it was really easy because he basically took over as the seller, basically had power of attorney, and just used me as boots on the ground, his eyes for him, just to confirm the condition. And they established the price, brought me in on a three-way call to talk to the actual owner of the property, just to tell them what the process was. And going forward, I mean, he opened title with someone that can handle Novation, so they knew exactly what they were doing, making sure we had everything. It just is really, really smooth. And like once for our part, I don't want to say it's minimal, but like really Adam and the investors are doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, Robert.
Awesome.
Robert,
Yes.
Ryan just said something that I think I asked this question before, because we have a national lender. I forgot Russell. We have a national lender. We have a national transactional funding person. I asked before, do we have a national title company that is very familiar with the A to C transaction?
We are negotiating with a national company, an
Okay.
online company, and I'm hoping that we announce that here, not this week, but next week.
Great. Yeah, because what Ryan just statement he just made, it makes a lot of sense if you've got a title company who's very familiar with the transaction of a novation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was at Adam's preference, so I mean, he already knows what he's doing and who to use. Because I tried to use my local title company, and they got back to me, "Oh, we can't do Novation." So luckily, Adam, has who he wants to use, and they were really smooth, and it just makes sense. So like, they're the new seller, so it was at his discretion. Hey, what title company do you want to use? And he knows who knows how to handle this, so it was very easy.
Excellent.
Very cool. Good conversation, you guys. I'm learning stuff. I like that. Let's see here. So the last one is transaction coordination using the Easy platform. We want to make sure that the seller, the investors know how to get the property to us so that we can get them over to you. Just so I think I showed you guys this last week. If not, we'll show you one right now. All right, so can you guys see that?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so this was a home submitted by Zoreena. Down here, we get the seller's name, we get the seller's email, their phone number, and then the contracted price, the current value, the after repair value. So it's the same thing, which means that the home is probably pretty well done, or they've already done the work. And then we also get this purchase sale agreement. This is the form that will be coming. You will get this along with when we send out the lead to you. You will get this purchase sale agreement so that you just have it on file. And what I always like to do is look down the additional terms and conditions down here. And you can see your buyer will pay all closing costs at closing. Okay, so the buyer in this case is who?
The investor.
The investor. Awesome. And the other thing that I like, I'm trying to see in hers. Seller presentation of warrant. Seller has full right, power, and authority to sell the property to buyer as provided in this contract, carry obligation here. Seller will maintain the property, close of escrow. And the seller acknowledges and agrees and understands the personal property left on the property after. All right, so she's got a pretty nice contract. What I don't see, oh, here we, buyer reserves right to assign to a third party, novate this agreement. Seller shall cooperate fully. So anyway, we've got a little bit different contract, but you guys will actually end up getting this along with that sheet that they're submitting with the purchase sale agreement. All right, so it makes it pretty seamless. And again, they fill out a let's see here. So I was going to show you this if you have any questions. So when Adam does a workup on a property, this is where he puts the cash offer down, the Novation offer, or the easy platform amount that he's going to do it, and work to be performed, if any, conditions, and then the easy listing price. When he submits it back over to whoever, when he talks to the seller, they'll pick what they want. That'll be put in here. You guys will get the as-is value, the ARV, you'll get the contracted price. So you'll get all of this is the stuff that will be coming over with the purchase sale agreement of the investor, along with the additional information. And just for instance, there was a contract that was done, sold, where the investor did not want anybody to talk to the seller without her being there. So when you get this form, make sure that you read it, read the notes on the bottom, and so that you understand what the terms and what the investor's looking for. Again, you get into a property, once you get this contract, your job at that point in time is to go out and shoot pictures, do the listing paperwork. And who are you giving the listing paperwork to? Who is that?
The investor.
The investor. You get out there and you're shooting pictures, and you notice that house smells like a skunk, or you notice people can't walk through it because of garbage inside of it, you don't talk to the homeowner about it. You get on the phone with the investor and say, hey, get this thing cleaned up. Maybe shoot some pictures and send it to her. All right. We haven't had that happen yet. So Joey had a home in Denison, Texas. The mother was living on the property, and the son owned the house.
Yeah,
The
I'm here.
home's in.
Sorry.
Okay. You want to tell a story about what you've had to do with that Denison?
Yeah. So Esther called. And she actually asked me to talk to the seller. So the seller was the son. The son's mother was living there, but I don't know. It was a whole family drama. Like mom was mad at the son was mad at the mom. They were both accusing each other of stuff, and it was just, she didn't want us coming in. So I just went back to the investor and said, hey, this needs to be cleaned up. Like the mom, she ended up being able to get the mom moved out to a different apartment. And so now it is vacant. Seller is cleaning it, and we should have it ready to go.
So stuff like that when it happens, that's exactly why we're doing this investor workshop. That will not happen with any of our deals that we get, that we are going to be using you guys to list homes. They will be nice and clean, nice and simple. They'll be spelled out with the exact way. So you're going to get that worksheet, and you're going to get the contract that we have with the people too. But if you get into something like that, I would appreciate an email. And probably, unfortunately, Joy got caught into that before I was even thinking of doing this investor workshop. It's one of the things that provoked it, because every phone call that Joy got, I got calls too. And it kept me from getting anything done. And so if the investors don't do the workshop, guess what?
We don't work with them.
They're not putting anything on the site. I am not going to have you guys go crazy and have to chase their stuff down because they don't want to be upfront. A little bit of the psychology. I know I've talked about this, but I'm going to end it today with before I take any questions. So I have found that these investors, the biggest expense cost that they have is their staff and the lead cost. Doing business the way that they were doing, it's a 1% close rate. So they've paid for 100 leads. They're only closing one of those. That is an absolute miserable life to do that. And not only that, just about every one of them have gone into one of these gurus workshops. And they have themselves, they have an acquisition specialist that helps them figure out prices. Then they have a disposition manager. They'll have their own telemarketing teams. They'll have their own virtual assistants. And then they've got their own personal assistant that they're paying 10% of every deal to. If we start taking those numbers and we divide out, like I say, remember this month we're only doing $5,000, right? And we're getting 4 leads a day. And then I got to pay an acquisitions manager. She's paying a call center when those leads come in to call the people. She's paying them $2,600 a month. She's paying the virtual assistant another $1,000 a month. She's giving her acquisition and disposition manager 10% of the deal each. So you start understanding this is the crap that these gurus that are charging a small fortune to come and train them, that's what they're teaching them to do. It's exactly why they go for kill shots. It's exactly why they don't care who they're screwing over. They're just trying to make the most amount of money for themselves. And here we come into the community and we're giving them 4 options, 4 different ways that they can maximize those leads. Now, we're not going to close 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, but I believe that we will close 25% of those deals. Close them. And that's what you got to understand about these investors. And we're trying to help them get into this thing, use the McDonald's method, get, 20 deals a month, not one every 6 months. So we're trying to change the psychology about what they're thinking and what they're doing. And the other thing too is because they're giving sellers, because it is an absolute blast to work these leads. Because we are telling the sellers, we've got plenty of ways to sell your home. And the cool thing is, we're going to help you out with your situation. Obviously, if somebody's in foreclosure, they're going to have to get it sold quick. Yeah, if somebody doesn't have the money to fix up the home and yet they're going to make another $40,000, we'll come in and do that work. And if they want to make a little bit more money, they can just go ahead and list it with us on the Easy Real Estate platform. And then if they don't have enough meeting, all right, Roman, thanks. If they don't have enough margin, we can take it and do a traditional easy listing. Remember the unique selling proposition. It always comes back to my sellers never pay a commission. And what I used to love about working with the sellers is they knew I had their back because I wasn't out there to make, a bazillion dollars off of them. I was out there to do the best thing for all of us, create a win-win situation. So if we keep that into our wheelhouse, we keep that into what we do, we are going to close a lot more deals, you guys. We will end up dominating the United States. All right, so our hour is up. Does anybody have any feedback on the training today? Was it worth it? Was it good, or do you enjoy it?
Awesome, Robert.
Excellent. I just have a question for Joy, if she's still available.
I am.
Hi, Joy. In that situation, did the mother, was it a cash for keys from the investor, or did the son take care of helping the mother move out?
The investor actually helped because there was like some family drama. So she helped along with some like senior care specialists help them find a senior apartment. So.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, that's Joy absolutely did the right thing. Turn it back over to them, let her get it resolved, then come back in. Joy, you're going to be listing that. My understanding, the seller was cleaning the house this weekend, so it should be pretty
Cleaning the
much ready to
house
go.
yesterday. It should be ready to go today. I'll talk to her today.
Very good.
So, Robert.
All right. Yes.
I have a question. We have, or at least I do, and probably a bunch of the agents on this call do. We get calls from investors asking us, if we got anything off market or anything in our pocket listing or anything like that. Now, those are leads for our investor pool. How would you like those to be collected and turned over to EZ? Or is that something that we need to do, or how's that process?
Well, that's a good question, Mike, but let me try to understand. Are you talking about an investor already has the home and they're looking for some offer?
No.
So are you talking, so how are you coming into contact with, are you talking about a seller calls you up and says that? Do we know of an investor?
No, I have investors that are calling me up wanting to know if I've got anything that they could invest in and do a fix and flip or a buy and hold or something like that I might have as a pocket listing or some other, basically not on the market yet is what they're looking for. but they're still investors. They still have, properties that they're turning. Some of them are big, some of them are little.
Well, all you can do in that case, they've already secured the home. Represent them. Put them on the platform as a regular agent.
They
No,
haven't secured a home.
No,
No, Robert,
Looking for-
these are investors who are looking
They're
for property
buyers.
to purchase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're looking to buy
Oh.
homes.
Well,
I would invite them to our investor seminar. That's what I would do. I'd say, hey, if you want to get, and we can kind of maybe put together some marketing for that and just saying, hey, if you're interested in having a better way to get properties and
more
to sell
money.
them, then come to our investor workshop.
Good. Okay, so yes, those marketing tools are what I'm looking for.
you got it. All right.
Hey, Rob, I would beg everybody. I know, if you've been around long enough, like you were just highlighting a great point about getting these calls. I work with investors and different kinds. They buy, they hold, and they go to investor meetings. You get now people acting as larger companies. We buy ugly houses, all that. Most of these quote unquote investors are wannabes. They're not really investors. And so I would beg you not to waste your time, because what they're looking for is a layup deal. They're taking path of least resistance, dangling a dollar over you and saying, I could buy it. Well, put your money where your mouth is, buy a house, and then come talk to me and let's see what your work is, and then I'll help you out. But I think what they want is us to do all the legwork, and most of them don't even know what they're doing. That's just my experience in the last 17 years.
They're calling you on a Monday because they went to the Saturday thing that says they can buy and sell real estate in their sleep and make a bunch of money.
Yeah, I have one right now it's a company. Literally, as we're talking, text me because I told them yesterday, are you a person or a company? And they said, oh, well, yes, I'm with Virginia Home Buyers. We focus on buying our off-market properties. Like, it took you a day to respond to my simple question. You're full of dog doo-doo. In the
And
nicest
I always
way.
ask, I always ask, what are you doing for off-market prospecting already? Would you like to partner for the leads that won't take your cash offer? 9 times out of 10, they're just calling agents looking for, like you said, Colin, and someone else, an easy handout. They're just calling agents. So,
yeah.
I'm telling you, you got it, everybody knows how to, like when you get a pre-qual in, when it's one of these investors that bought into a program and using their pre-qual form. We don't get suckered into that either, do we? The best way to not get suckered in it, tell them I need a non-refundable earnest money. Watch how fast they run.
Yep. Whole tailing.
So, hey,
Daisy chainers. Daisy chainers.
Michael, thank you for asking that question. Sorry, my San Diego State background kicked in. So, anyways, I'm already drinking the Kool-Aid somewhere else.
Hey, be careful about those Aztecs.
Oh, trust me, I'm careful, but I also know what I did. So, anyways, all right, everybody. Really appreciate everybody showing up for this, and I am so thankful that you guys got something out of this. Monday we're going to be doing question and answers, but we are going to start rolling into role playing as well. Everybody's been asking for it, so guess what? We're going to answer questions on Monday and move if there's no questions, right into role playing with each other.
You got to wine and dine me first, Robert. You can't just be role playing with me. My wife would not approve.
Thank God we got one of you, Colin.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. Have a very wonderful weekend. Contest will be unveiled here the third week of September. So get ready. If there's anything we can do to help you get listings, the leads are coming in our first week. We got close to 30 of them in. Obviously, not all of them are workable, but Adam is working the ones. We will start sending those out. The investors that are starting to understand what we're doing are listing properties fast and furious. 21 submissions last week. So just be ready. Make sure that we're understanding this, because I guarantee you they're going to be coming in your area. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Robert.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning into Easy Real Estate Platform's Topic Thursdays. We hope to see you again next week, and make sure you check out our Facebook groups. The links are in the description.